Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a special Instagram live recording that I am sharing with you all today that has been just so fun to film, answering your questions about hitting $500,000 total revenue in under 2 years being in business. So I did this as a live, so many of you joined, and I wanted this on my podcast as well for everyone that loves listening to purely audio. You're in the car, you're on a walk, whatever it may be. Maybe it's something you haven't caught yet from Instagram, so want you to get a chance to really immerse yourself in this experience and really call this in and manifest it for yourself. So this is a part one of two. And some of the questions I'm answering are: knowing what you know now, what would you focus on at only $5,000 in revenue? What thoughts did you have during the journey that helped you get to $500,000? What money blocks did you identify and break through? And by the way, in this episode, I go into why I don't think that there are things like blocks and why I don't think there's like a super secret formula on making money, on attracting money. So keep listening for that. One of the questions was how my inner child feels about this milestone. Do I have time management and schedule, or is it all just flow? How to embody more feminine energy in business. And did I always aim this high, or did I start with smaller goals before? And of course, other questions that were asked on live as well. So jump into this episode, set some intentions in terms of what you would love to embody and learn, because I know when I first started out my business, $500,000 was not even a number that was on my mind. I was trying to get to like $10,000 for the first bit in my business, and then I had a $10,000 month, and then it was like, okay, maybe I can aim for $30,000, $50,000, right? And then $100,000 felt so big to me. And when I just started seeing the number, I would write the number down, I would say the number out loud. It's just started feeling less and less big. Just started feeling like, wow, this is something that I can achieve. This is something that I can call in for myself and is available to me. So if there's a number, it doesn't have to be $500,000, right? This really listen to this podcast episode and take in and call in what you feel like is applicable to you and your business and the milestone that you want to achieve. But I want you to be able to realize that that number is just a number. And as powerfully as you can manifest $100,000, you would manifest $10 in the same way, right? It's just the thoughts and the conditioning and the limiting beliefs and all the things that kind of surround it that really create the barriers. So without further ado, I'm going to have you jump into this episode. And if you like it, please share it. Please leave a message for me on Instagram. Send me a DM. I would love to hear from you and what you are shifting or what you've learned and you want to implement in your own journey into your next milestone, whatever it may be. All right, let's dive in. I'm your host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the live. I'm going to do a celebratory 500K live and answer your questions, talk a little bit about the process, and just celebrate and be able to hold this space and this energy so that you all can really soak it up. I can really soak it up and fully receive it, and hopefully you can gain some insight and some clarity through this process and what I've learned, what you want to learn from this, what you want to kind of take away from this. So I just want to open up that space for us today, open up that energetic space to receive and for me to receive, for you to receive, for us to both learn. And celebrate 500K. It feels so, it feels like surreal, and because a lot of people ask me, like, how do you feel? Like, some of the questions were literally just like, how do you feel? And it's interesting. It's not necessarily this like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Like it was very much a progression towards 500K. So I knew it was coming. I knew I was going to reach it at some point, just like I know I'm going to reach 1 million. It's just a matter of like when. And yeah, I think that this is the most grounded that I've ever felt reaching a big milestone. I think like 100K was more of that like bouncy, like really ecstatic, like, oh my God, like I can't believe I did this, like 100K in 8 months, like, oh my goodness, that's unfathomable. I've never made that kind of money before. I've never seen that kind of money before. And then as I got to like 200K, 300K, 400K, and now 500K, I'm just kind of like, okay, this is just the way that it gets to be. This is just the way that I get to build my business. And it just is. And for so long, I've been in this energy of 500K to a point where I was like, I had to remind myself a couple of times, like, wait, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I have to say nearly 500K or like almost 500K, because I'm not actually there yet, but my mindset, my energy was there. I was 500K. I was a 500K coach and CEO, I think, for the past several months. And I think being in that energy and calling that in was so powerful, and something that I would really recommend for you to step into and embody as you are reaching a specific goal, result, milestone. So I really want to start with that. Yay. Hi, everyone. Your positivity is radiating through the screen. Thank you. That's so sweet. Aloha. Good morning. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I fully receive it, and I'm very, very grateful. So what I want to do today is I had a Q&A question box on my stories. I screenshotted them because obviously I can't go back and forth while I'm on live. So I'm looking at them over here. I've got a really good amount of questions. So we'll see how many we can get through today. And then if there's any questions that you want to ask specifically here in the, I would actually recommend you to put it inside the little question icon. So if you look, it should be also on your bottom right, and you should see a question icon where you can put in questions and ask anything that you'd like about my journey of reaching 500K. I definitely want you to ask very high quality questions. So please stay away from like, how did you do it? You know, certain things like that like clearly, you know, I'm going to be answering through specific questions. So just make sure they're high quality questions. Please really embody your highest self and put just your highest emotional intelligence so that I can really, really give you the most thoughtful answers and responses, rather than questions that you know are not capable. You know I'm not capable of answering in one live and takes a really long time. So that's the only thing that I say is please, high quality questions. All right. Most of these are pretty high quality though. Let's see. So, okay, I'll start off with this one. Did you always aim this high, or did you start off with a smaller goal? Also, congrats. Thank you. And this is from _Miss Shelley __. So no, I definitely I didn't know that this was possible for me, like truly. When I started my business, I didn't think that I didn't know where this was going to go.
I knew that I was going to make money. I knew that that was my intent of starting my business. I knew that that's what I wanted. But never did I think, oh, I'm going to make 500K one day. Like, this is, again, you have to remember, like, this is coming from a single mom that was on food stamps. Hi, Lily. Thank you. I appreciate you. This is coming from a single mom on food stamps that had literally, I had not made more than like $19 an hour. That was my wage at my day job. And so that was what I was used to making, was like 30K a year, right? Barely getting by, like just enough to make rent. And so no, the answer is no. I did not think about making this much money. I did not aim this high. I did, of course, start with smaller goals, as we all do, right? Nobody starts a business and goes, you know what? I'm going to make $1 million within that year. It's really funny because when I first started my business, I actually mapped out kind of like a game plan, and I named it Path to Millions. And even when I first started my business, I think there was a part of me that was like, hey, this is possible. Like I can do this. I think what helped me was seeing like expanders around me who were people making multi six figures and $1 million and multi-million dollars in their business, where I was like, okay, maybe this is possible for me too. But it definitely wasn't something that I started off right away and was like, okay, this is exactly what it's going to look like. So yes, absolutely. I started with smaller goals. My first goal was like a 10K month, and then it was a 6-figure year, which I hit within 8 months, first 8 months of my business. And then I hit 200K within the first year. And then from there, it just continued to grow. So it's about to be 2 years in business. I'm going to celebrate 2 years in business next month. And this was the milestone for 500K. So didn't always aim this high. I always like to say, start with smaller goals and start with goals that you know that you can reach, and then continue to expand. And don't just have money goals. Like, don't just have goals that are money milestones. Have goals where you are focusing on your healing, focusing on that you can set goals where you're intentionally not making money. The fact that I was able to set goals like the last couple months of 2021, I intentionally was not making money. That helped me to propel myself into making what is nearly a 6-figure month right now. So I just want to remind you that like your goals do not always have to be money motivated. They obviously can be, but being able to look at where you need to focus on other areas outside of money is really important. So that's what I'm going to say on that. Okay. Cassie Mendoza Jones said, what's different about you or your business now that you've crossed this milestone? Ooh, that's a really good question. What is different about me or my business? So many things. I don't even know what's the same. I don't know what's the same. Like it's truly, I feel like I'm a truly different person, but in the sense that I'm not a different person to a point where I've taken on an identity outside of myself. I feel like I've finally come home to who I truly am. So that's the main difference there. Is like, I am not trying to show up as a different person. I am fully, more and more every single day, myself, and my business is fully every single day coming home to myself and showing up as this version of me that I always wanted to be, that I've always hoped to become. And I think that is a really big part of me hitting 500K, is that I didn't try to copy somebody else's formula or strategy. I didn't try to copy my coach's strategy. It was really me getting clear on like what would be so joyful for me, what would be so exciting for me, what would be me following my heart and truly showing up as the business owner that I want to be and the way that I want to run my business. So I think that the best answer to that question to what is different about me, what's different about my business, is that I've never loved myself more. I have never had my own back the way that I have my own back right now. And the way that I am so fulfilled, not just with the money, but even if like 500K never came around, I would be so content because I know how to create that joy and fulfillment that is not attached to the money. And it's really interesting how this journey of creating the most wealth has actually showed me that I don't need it in order to be happy, but it does create so many more options for me. It creates so many more options for my family, which is me and my daughter. And it allows me to give back to the world and do things I've always wanted to do. So I would say so much is different because of the way that I look at the world, the way that I'm able to manage my mind. Like, you guys would not recognize me years ago, I was so stuck in my victim mentality, and I was so stuck in like, the world is out to get me. Everyone is out to get me. I am like doomed. There's nobody who has my back. I am all alone. Everything just happens to me, right? Like it's just like, I truly felt like the world was out to get me, and I did not know how to manage my mind in the slightest. Why am I so bright? And it was really a completely different person. And so through coaching and being coached, I feel like one of the biggest things I've been able to learn is how to manage my mind and how to have my own back and love myself, no matter what the milestone is, no matter what the win is, no matter what the quote unquote failure is, right? Like any result that I end up experiencing, I have my own back, and I know what it looks like to unconditionally love myself and be there for myself and love my humanity, and be integrity 100% of the time, even when I don't get what I intended or what I wanted out of a specific situation. And I think that that's really big. In the beginning of my business, I didn't have any of those tools, and I didn't know how to manage my mind, and I didn't know that this type of fulfillment and joy was possible in such an effortless way. Like, I have to remind you all, the first year of my business, like, I hustled the fuck through it, you know? And I think that like some hustle is fine. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, especially when you're first starting. But I was at a point where it wasn't just working hard. It was me like burning myself into the ground every single day, not taking care of myself, not taking care of my body, not resting. And so it had created this very unhealthy work relationship with my work that was not sustainable and was not the way that I wanted to live my life. And I thought that that was the only way of being able to show up in business, because that's the way that I'd seen other people show up, and my dad. And I just thought, oh, if I want to build a business, if I want to be successful, what's going on? If I want to be successful, I have to make so many sacrifices, and I have to essentially be this person that can't spend time with my daughter. I can't do the things that I want to, and I just kind of accepted it as fate. And I didn't realize that those were just thoughts, and they were just thoughts that were running my business and running my life. And until I was able to reframe new thoughts and release the thoughts that I no longer wanted to hold on to, that's when everything shifted for me. So I was a completely different person when I first started my business. I can do I actually have like podcasts on this. If you go like back into my podcast, into like the first couple episodes where I talk about releasing toxic hustle culture and how I was able to release it and create a more feminine kind of led business, more feminine energy led business. Those are really important things, that I feel like have made such a difference. Okay. wow, wait, this is really cool. I'm seeing all of the questions that you all put into the stories on my screen. Okay, I'm going to start answering questions that you're all putting into the question icon. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in there and I will click them so that they're featured on the screen, and I will get to as many as possible. So feel free to answer any questions that you have about me hitting 500K. I just ask that they come from a high quality space so that it is very beneficial for me to answer and for you to absorb and receive. So Danielle asked, congrats, thank you. What is the best, I'm assuming you meant marketing and not marking, tip for a person just starting out on their business journey? So when it comes to marketing, I know that there's a lot of information out there about marketing. I know that it can feel really, really confusing when you're first starting out, especially if you have been, if you've been following a lot of different people, or if you feel like information is coming to you at all angles, it can feel very exhausting. The best thing that I can tell you, and the thing that I guess I wish I was told in the beginning, but I don't think I would have changed my journey just because I feel like I needed to go through everything that I went through. But if you're just starting out on, you're building a new business, you're in the very beginning and you're wanting to market your services, truly keep it simple. Keep it simple and just show up. There's nothing more important than just getting your medicine and your magic out there into the world. It doesn't matter how it looks. It does not need to be batched ahead of time. And allowing yourself to just channel whatever you want to share that day and letting that be your truth for the day, and you share it with your people. It doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter how it looks. It could literally, like, most of my posts are screenshots from my notes app, and I just post it to my feed. And the less that you can batch your content, truly the better. So just allowing yourself to share whatever it is that comes to mind for you, whatever value that you feel like your people need to hear that day, is truly the most important thing that you can give them. That is like truly the best. Like, my coach, Simone Soul, has a whole course called Joyful Marketing, and I always recommend it just because I love her, but also it's just the way that she teaches, right? It's really about how you are examining your thoughts and the way that you are showing up to market, and what you believe about your services, and what you believe about your offer, and what you believe about your people. And truly, it doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter like the aesthetics of it, and like all of the things that you think are important are really not as important as you just getting your message out there and just sharing whatever you feel like needs to come through. And if there is a day where you feel like, you know what, I don't know what I have to share today, I don't feel like posting today, honoring that and listening to that, and not keeping up consistency just for the sake of consistency is so important. That way you are showing up and allowing yourself to create content that is truly channeled from your heart, in the time and the moment and the energy that your people need to hear it. And when you don't feel like you're in that energy and you don't feel like you have something to share that day, giving yourself space to just rest and letting your mind rest, instead of forcing yourself to come up with things for the sake of productivity, or for the sake of, oh, but my people are going to forget about me, right? That's a really good invitation for you to start looking at your thoughts and what thoughts thoughts you're holding when this comes up. So if it is thoughts like, my people are going to forget about me if I don't post every single day, then it's a good invitation for you to look at, where is this? Why do I think that? Where is this coming from, right? Why would that not be the worst thing in the world if I took a couple of days off, if I felt like I truly didn't want to post? And how could it actually be better for my audience for me to only post when I am in the energy that I feel, excited and radiant and excited to share, and I have a channeled message, versus, okay, I'm typing out this message that I feel like I really need to put out there, but I really don't want to, but I'm doing it for my audience and for the sake of consistency. Like, your audience can feel that too, right? Your audience can 100% feel that. So I just want you to know that if you're first starting out in your business and you're looking for, how do I market? How do I show up? Do what feels good to you. Fuck the rules. Like, truly, those rules were just created by someone, probably some white dude that you don't have to listen to. And allow yourself to just show up the way that you fucking are, because that's what your people need to see from you. And that is the medicine that the world needs to hear. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Okay, going into the comments really quick. Samantha said, for some reason, I can't stay on this live. I'm not sure what's going on with your service. But oh my God, I want to say you're amazing and you inspire me every day, seeing other Asian women who look like me doing what she wants and being so damn good at it. Because of you, you inspired me and my sis to open our own small business together. Yay! Amazing. I love that. And congratulations on the opening of your business. Hi, Hisan. And you're welcome, Danielle. Okay, I'm going to go into another question. Oops. Okay, let's see. Here is a question from my stories. It's showing me questions from the story prompt that I put up yesterday. So if you put in a question there, I likely have it here, and I'm going to get to as many as possible. So this question is about shadow work, and what prompts did you use to help remove money blocks or go into tips? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by go into tips, but I'm going to respond to the idea of money blocks. So first of all, I think that sometimes we approach money and money mindset as this secretive thing that we have to unblock somehow. And it's this like code that we have to figure out and like somehow unlock, because for some reason it's just not like, it's not working, it's not clicking, you're not making the amount of money that you want to make. And to that, I truly want to say that it isn't some type of secret, right? It's truly just you. Like, imagine if instead the money block was just you taking your healing seriously and taking it one step at a time and letting it sometimes feel shitty, and also being really, really honest about your money story. What do you believe? What do you think? What do you know that you feel like is true or that you believe around money? What did your parents tell you about money? It isn't some fanciful secret, right? Like, money truly is not that secretive. It is just the way that you have been taught about it and what you want to believe about money, what you want to believe about the type of money you want to attract into your life, and opening up yourself to essentially be on that same frequency that money is on. Okay. And I think that those things can sometimes feel really like big and arbitrary and still feel kind of secretive, but it really isn't. It really is just loving yourself one step at a time, regulating your nervous system, and allowing yourself to be open to receiving more and receiving more amounts of money, and allowing yourself to be open to new ways of thinking about money. That's like the simplest way that I can put it. And I know it sounds like, what do you mean? Of course it's more difficult than that. It's only more difficult because of how we demonize money as a society. It is only more difficult because of the story that you've been told, which is not your fault, by the way. It's just the money that you've been told by your parents and their ancestors. And a lot of us, especially if you're a woman of color, a person of color, you have ancestral trauma in your lineage. You might be the first person in your family to become an entrepreneur. You might be the first person in your family to charge 4 figures. You might be the first person in your family to make 6 figures ever, right? Especially if you're a person of color, because epigenetics shows us that it goes back 6-7 generations where we hold those same wounds that our ancestors and our grandmothers have held. And especially for women, we've been taught to be silent. We have been taught, and society has told us that we can't make money, that we shouldn't run our own businesses, that we should just be mothers and wives and stay at home. And so because of that, and your parents might be saying similar things to you if they still believe in that old paradigm that you should be a mom and focus on getting married instead of running your own business, right? Like, we might hear a bunch of controversial things. And so it's not that there's something secret that you can't access because you're uniquely fucked up in your own way. It's not that. You're not uniquely fucked up. There is not something about you that keeps you perpetually broke outside of you and the money story and the wounds that you hold in your body from your ancestors and from what you are choosing to believe. And it might sound simple to take on a new story about money, and it might seem like, oh, maybe that's something that I could be open to, but it would feel so daunting. And it feels daunting because we've been told to stay silent for so long, and we've been taught not to make money for so long. And so once you're able to recognize that and realize where you want to go from that, and recognize what are the intentional thoughts I want to start thinking instead. If I've been demonizing money my whole life and I've been thinking that money is the root of all evil, what do I want to think about money now? What do I want to believe about money moving forward, right? What do I want to think about money when I am charging a client, right? Like a one-on-one client. What do I want to believe about it then? Because those thoughts that you think when you show up on, for example, sales calls as a coach, they're gonna show up. If you think that making money is gonna make you a worse person or make you an evil person, you're gonna get on sales calls and a client's gonna be so gung-ho and ready to work with you. And then when you say, okay, my coaching program for 3 months is at what random number, like $1,000, and you think, oh my gosh, if they say yes and I make this $1,000, and this is all happening subconsciously, right? This is not something that you're thinking about consciously and intentionally. It's kind of like running in the background. It's like a white noise that's running in the background that's constantly there. There's no secret to it, right? And there's no secret of finding out what it is, because you could just look around to your current reality, look at your bank account, look at how much money you're making, and you will see what that reflection is. It's always a reflection. Your external reality is always a reflection of what's happening internally. So just being aware of that and where that's coming from, and recognizing that it isn't necessarily about some secret money block that's happening that you have to like go really deep to figure out. It's more so like, what is your current story about money? What is your current reality about money? What do you want to believe about money? And what steps are you going to take in order to get there, right? Maybe it is setting up a money date where you're getting really clear on your finances and the way that you want to show up with your money. Maybe it's just changing your verbiage around money. So instead of saying things like, I can't afford that, or I don't make enough money, or I need more money, maybe you can switch I can't afford that to I'm not prioritizing that at this time. And maybe instead of, oh, my bank account is always so low, you can switch that to my bank account is wide open and ready to receive now. And instead of I'm always so broke, I'm never making enough money, you can switch that to money is a limitless energetic resource, and it's always flowing my way. I find money and I receive money all the time, everywhere. And when you do see money, like a quarter on the sidewalk, or somebody pays you back for lunch, they pay their half for lunch and it comes through your Venmo, just even if it feels silly, even if it feels like, oh, I've never done something like this before, just sit in gratitude with that money and just hold that thankfulness in your heart for a couple of moments when money finds its way to you. Because when you start healing that relationship with money, it is going to want to spend more time with you. It's going to want to be around you more. Just like a relationship, a romantic relationship, or a platonic friendship, when you say kind, affirming things about another person and you spend more time with them and you create space for them, they're going to want to spend more time with you. If we're constantly demonizing money, yet expecting it to show up in our bank account, that's not congruent. That's not parallel. That's not aligned, right? Money is going to flow to the places where it's most aligned. I am very open about the way that I love money and that I truly feel like money finds me no matter what. When I was first starting out coaching, I had a $200 package for a couple of weeks. I don't even remember how long. I think it was like 6 weeks or something like that. But it was $200, and those were like my beta clients. I just started. And I used to think, oh my God, I have never charged $200 for anything. I'm brand new. Who's going to want to work with me? Who's going to want to pay me $200? And every single person I attracted ended up telling me $200 was way too much money for them, which now looking back, I'm just like, what on earth? Like now knowing what I know about my business and having reached $500,000, right? It just feels kind of crazy to me that I thought that and that other people thought that. But how could they think differently if that was my thoughts about my pricing and my thoughts about money? It's always your external reality is always a reflection of your internal reality. So now, like last weekend, I just sold a $16,500 package for one-on-one coaching. We're working together for a couple of months, and I've sold that package. I've sold like a 16,000 price point, 15,000, 16,000 to a couple of people for one-on-one. And it's always like, fuck yeah, I'm in, let's go, right? Like no drama, no mind drama about it. They're just like, yep, let's make it happen. I can't wait to get started, right? And it's like, they make it happen come hell or high water, because I believe that is a steal to work with me, and I'm like, my pricing, my relationship, my thoughts about money is that money is always coming my way and that I'm always attracting money. And so I don't feel like I have those quote unquote blocks anymore, but really it isn't this secret that you have to unblock them. It really is just, what do you choose to believe about money? What type of relationship do you want to have with money? Where do you want to start your healing journey with money and cultivating a different relationship with money? Okay, so that's my simple answer. And keep it simple. There's no reason to overcomplicate this or feel like you need to like go and do something crazy to like heal your money blocks and journey or whatever. Like, it's so much simpler than you think, and it can take so much shorter of a time than you think. Okay, let's see. What do I want to answer next? Okay, I'll answer this one. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, I'll answer this one because it's about the T line, which is thoughts. So when you see T's, this person just means thoughts. So what thoughts did you have way before this materialized? What are the thoughts on the way to it? All the T's. So when we talk about the T line, that is the self-coaching model. I'm not certified by the life coach school or anything. I'm not certified at all. But I know the model because my coach uses it, and I was not introduced to thought work until like 5-6 months ago. But I learned really easily and quickly. So I was able to kind of catch on. I was like, oh, I know what this is. This is energetic alignment. This is getting into energetic alignment with your thoughts. So, okay, so in terms of the model and thoughts that I had, honestly, they were like very, very unglamorous thoughts. Like some of them were like nice, pretty, beautiful mantras, but some of them were just like, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to die. I know what I'm doing. I know the best thing to say on this call. It was really just taking it one step at a time, truly, and allowing myself to be open to believing a new thought and allowing myself to hold the dichotomy of being a person that's constantly healing while attracting money now. The biggest shift that I made this past month was that I felt like I felt like there was like, I was always an arm's length away from my next goal because there was always something I felt like I needed to heal in the meantime. So I think one of the biggest things that I learned, one of the biggest T's that I had was I am allowed to heal myself simultaneously while also making a shit ton of money. And that I don't need to be healed in order to make money. And I think that's a really big one because I think sometimes we wait or we think, oh, I need to heal. I need to work on this. I need to unblock that in order to start attracting money and making money. And that's not the case. You're always going to be on a healing journey until the day that you die. I'm never going to be too healed. Like, I'm never going to be done with healing. I'm always going to be healing something, but I'm also able to make money and be an incredible coach and business owner and the wealthiest version of me in the meantime. So that was a really, really big one for me. Another T that I had was it gets to be easy. It gets to be simple. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. I used to think that I had to learn all of the things in order to be a successful business owner. And I used to think that it needed to be really complicated and that I had to learn about funnels and ads and I had to have like this huge email list and these freebies and all these things that I would offer. I used to think that it needed to be really, really overly complicated. And I used to think like, oh my goodness, because it's so complicated and logical and there's so much that involves money and analytics and all of these things that my brain couldn't handle it. So I used to think like I was not cut out because I didn't operate, my brain didn't operate like other business owners and other coaches. So one of my biggest T's, one of my biggest thoughts was that I get to choose what's simple. What's simple is what is best. Because in reality, what makes sense for my brain, what makes sense for me is going to be what brings me the most joy, right? What is going to be simple, what's going to feel effortless, what's going to feel joyful is going to be me in my most energetic and magnetic state versus me attempting to show up as this version of myself where I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on in my business. It's so complicated to a point where I can't even explain it. Like, I don't think that a coaching business needs to be that complicated. I don't think that you need to have a huge team to get to 500K or even a million. I think that when you keep it simple and you make it easy to understand and easy for others to get results, and you focus on getting your clients results, you focus on becoming a really good coach and keeping things simple, that is when you see results. It's not when you overcomplicate it and think that you need all the things, because you truly do not. You don't need all the things. You do not need to make it harder for yourself or more tiring for yourself or work more hours. Like, I work like 3 days a week pretty much. I typically work on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. I have Fridays and the weekends, and typically Mondays off. I don't do any calls on those days at all. If I want to work, I will. But I just let my energy flow. I just let it happen. I allow myself to just trust my desires and my purpose and my medicine. I don't do anything that I feel like I have to do. You know, I like, sure, there's certain things that maybe I'm not like super, super excited about doing. But that's very, very, very minimal. Like, I have created a business where I truly just feel so joyful, and I choose to do things that light me up. When I teach masterclasses, when I even want to do a masterclass, which you don't have to do, by the way, I always choose and download things that I feel like are so juicy and delicious and incredible to share, because that is what puts me in my most effortless flow state. And me being in my flow state, my most divine feminine energy, has attracted me the most incredible soulmate clients and has allowed me to show up in my business the way that I want to, not the way that I feel like I have to, or the things that I feel like I have to do. I do what lights me up and what gets me excited. And that's how I attract the most amazing clients. And truly, I've gotten to 500K by having so much fun and having so much joy and following the spirit of my business. And this is what I teach inside my signature offer, Business Activation Academy. This is what I teach to my students. This is what I want my students to experience and really allow them to create businesses that feel like coming home to themselves and feel effortless and fun and flowy to themselves, right? Like, choosing the flowier, more effortless path is truly, truly a powerful thing. And this doesn't mean that you are choosing everything that's simple and never ever allowing room for the discomfort, because there is definitely that need for the discomfort, especially when you are processing emotions, when you are taking in coaching that maybe doesn't feel so good, or you are doing something brand new, like maybe you've never gone on live, or maybe you've never done a masterclass or a webinar. Maybe you've never launched a product and you're doing it for the first time, and it feels so uncomfortable and so scary, and you're filled with fear and you don't know what to do. And those are the moments where these thoughts and this truly believing in yourself and your medicine, your magic, is going to be so powerful and is going to be so needed as you continue to scale and grow your business. Hi, Sherilyn. So I really hope that helps answer this question. There really is no perfect T-line. There's no perfect thought that you can give yourself. It really is just like, sometimes what is the simplest, what's going to get you to the next result, and what can you hold on to that is going to help you process your emotions in the meantime and take it a step at a time. Okay, let's see.
Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more. Okay, so I'm going to answer this one by Crystal. What is something you would go back and tell the version of you that just made 5K in her business so far? What's something that would help her to know? This is a good question. So knowing what I know now about making money and about attracting wealth into my life, if I had just made 5K, I would focus on what is working and also choosing what feels joyful to me. Again, going back to the emotions and the energy and really holding that. I would focus on getting my clients results and creating a process for my coaching. And really allowing myself to get really, really good at coaching on that process. And the process doesn't have to be some complicated, fancy thing. If your process is just my clients come and get coached every week on the call, and this is the goal we're working towards, then that's your process, right? It doesn't need to be something complicated. Like, our brains love to find the most complicated things that we can do, and it really doesn't need to be that complicated. But that's what I would focus on, is helping to get my clients results and really focusing on creating that process, getting really, really good at one-on-one coaching, which is what I did. I did one-on-one coaching for so long before I opened up to group, before I launched my course, which is my academy, Business Activation Academy. When you get really good at coaching one-on-one, that just preps you for everything in the future. So I would keep it simple, trust my magic, really, really start to co-create with the spirit of my business in a way that I've never done before. Really start listening to my intuition, listening to my body, and letting that lead rather than feeling the need to keep up or hustle or anything that we're taught that's in the wounded masculine that doesn't need to exist in our businesses. There can be that sacred honoring of the masculine, which is, I believe, is important. But I truly, truly think that so much of us are taught to just honor the masculine, or are only taught about the wounded masculine in business, traditional business building. And so listening to your feminine, connecting to your body, your bleed cycle, your womb, really, really tapping into your intuition and your heart and creating a heart-centered business is so, so, so powerful. And if there's anything that I can go back and have learned sooner, it would 100% be that. Okay, let's see, maybe I'll do two more. Okay, someone asked, can you provide easy tips to become more feminine? So, I'm assuming that you mean, incorporate more feminine energy, because this again is for all genders, right? It doesn't matter if you identify as a woman or you're socialized as a woman or you identify as non-binary. Any gender has both feminine and masculine, you're welcome, has both feminine and masculine energies. And for so long, we've been taught that just the masculine is, like, we have been taught to prioritize the masculine and that the masculine energy is superior. And it's not. It's not superior. There is so much beauty in both the feminine and the masculine, and they have to work together in order to create magic. So you can't just have the masculine, which is what we see a lot of, is just taking action, just hitting the ground running. Strategy, organization, tracking, planning, right? Like, it's very go, go, go. It's very avoid your body and your body's nudges and just do what is logical, right? That's what we're taught in corporate. Like, we're
We're taught that we're not allowed to have mental health days, listen to our body. This has created something for women called the patriarchal stress syndrome, right? Patriarchal stress syndrome, or patriarchal stress disorder. That's what it was called. And to a point where sometimes women will become hospitalized and ask doctors, hey, can I please stay a little bit longer? Because that is the first rest that they've had in who knows how long. A lot of women don't allow themselves to rest. A lot of us are so disconnected from our bodies, and a lot of us are disconnected from our intuition. And so I guess the first thing that I would say is it's so simple. Like, make it simple. Don't like overcomplicate. Our brain loves to like make it really complicated. Just start listening to the nudges of your body, right? If you feel like today you need to reschedule all your calls and you just want to lay in bed, you just want to go out for a walk, you just want to put on, a podcast or music, and you just want to like allow yourself to be in your body, honor that, right? Or it might be something simpler, like if you just wanted to you wanted to be outside, right? And you feel like you have like a full schedule or whatever it is, like allowing yourself to create that what's the word? Like, allow yourself to actually listen to your body. Like, allow yourself to actually say yes to what your body needs. Stop like holding your bladder on Zoom calls. Go to the fucking bathroom when you need to. Speak up and ask for things when you need them. When you really want to receive, fully receive it, instead of pushing it away, right? Whether it's compliments or someone offering you water or coffee or whatever it is, like fully receiving it rather than immediately just saying like, no, I don't need that, I'm fine, right? Like fully allowing yourself to be in your body. That is full and true embodiment. And that is one of the biggest things that the feminine has taught me, is to just listen to what my body needs in the moment and honor it. And I promise that a lot of times it isn't that we don't have enough energy or we don't have enough time. It's that we are giving our energy, we're leaking our energy to everyone and everything around us and not setting clear boundaries around it. And we're not honoring our own bodies and our menstrual cycles and our energy cycles. And we are attempting to show up like men, right? Like men have 24-hour energy cycles and women have 28 energy cycles, 28-day energy cycles. So listening to your body, like truly tapping into what your body needs and trusting that like no matter what gender you are, all genders have masculine and feminine energies. And again, we need both. We need masculine energy because the masculine is the action, it's the motion, it sets things forward. But to be grounded in the feminine first allows you to then take aligned action rather than overaction that just burns you out, and allows you to be led by the feminine, led by your heart, by your soul, in a place that is so much more fulfilled rather than this go, 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 go. We have to hit this milestone and this metric, and we have to plan out all of our content and batch all of our content. Like, just saying that makes me feel exhausted. So the more you can honor your body and choose what feels effortless and flowy and delicious is truly honoring the feminine. And that is enough to start with. Okay. Let me see. Let me answer one more. Ooh, okay. I like this one.
Do you have a time management schedule around business, or is it all flow? Hi, B. Yes. Okay. Delicious. So I don't feel like I have a time management or time blocked schedule. I don't really put myself on a schedule. I don't like schedules. I don't like calendars. I pretty much only have calls on my schedule. So if I'm meeting with one-on-one clients, which we have recurring times for our calls. So I know when they are, and I get reminders. I don't check my calendar that often, but I get reminders for when my calls are going. So I'll kind of check and I know when they're coming up. I have one group call for my signature offer, which is Business Activation Academy, every single week on Wednesdays at 4:30. So obviously I know to plan around that. Outside of that, though, I don't really plan much. I don't really have a schedule. I don't like schedules. I have undiagnosed ADHD. I'm very like flowy all over the place. I do not like, having a strict hourly schedule. It makes me feel really confined. It makes me feel really restricted. I like sleeping in. Yesterday, there's also something going on energetically that's causing a lot of like heaviness, but I woke up at 3 in the afternoon and I slept at like 1 in the morning. But I don't work on Mondays, I don't work on Fridays, I don't work over the weekend. So like those are my like 4 days of just rest. But I like to let myself sleep in. I don't like alarms. I don't like being woken up and jumping straight into a call. So I typically sleep in all morning. I'll wake up around noon. Depending on my energy, sometimes I'll wake up a little bit earlier. I don't take any calls until the afternoon. I like to get up and either make lunch or get lunch. I like to go for a walk. I just like to have very, very flowy days. And I love having time in between where I can rest. I have time in between my calls. I don't have calls back to back ever. And yeah, I just do what lights me up and just feels good throughout the week. And sometimes that looks different in different seasons. So if I'm not doing launches anymore because my program is always open, but sometimes I'll do master classes or I'll have like a fun like 3-day event or something. So if I know that I'm doing that, I will plan around it and just make sure that I have enough energy and that I'm not doing any other calls that day. And that I am, if there's things that I need to prep for that, like writing emails, like creating graphics, like I do all of my own graphics. I love like putting graphics together and just like having fun doing that on Canva or whatever it is. I'll give myself ample time to kind of look ahead, but I don't plan too much. I plan just enough so that I know what's happening and when, and I can send out things that I need to. But outside of that, I don't over plan. I don't have like a crazy calendar. I don't time block my schedule to get things done. I trust that if something didn't get done that day, it was just not meant to get done that day. I really don't give myself deadlines. Like I don't work on deadlines at all in my business. My team doesn't work on deadlines. It's very, very, very flowy. And there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of surrender that comes with that. And so, it took me a while to create the schedule that felt most aligned to me, but it's truly the one where I feel like I'm able to thrive because I just don't operate in a schedule where I have to do something new every hour. Like I need to be able to, and sometimes there'll be days where I just reschedule my calls and I'm just like, I'm not meeting today. I am going to,
go and like take a hike, like literally. Like, I'm telling myself to go and take a hike just because there's no way that I can show up in that type of energy. And I think more of us need to prioritize that and stop trying to be fucking professional and show up and drag yourself to these calls where your energy's like clearly not there and you clearly don't want to be there. And yet we force ourselves to. We don't listen to our bodies. And that just creates even more drain, even more burnout, even more exhaustion. It's like no matter how much sleep you get, you are exhausted. It's because your energy is depleted. You're leaking your energy to all these things that you don't even want to say yes to, but you feel like you have to. And so you're just so perpetually tired. You're just tired all the time. And that used to be me. Right? And so it wasn't until I learned to not leak my energy, only say yes to the things that are a fuck yes, only say yes to clients that are a fuck yes. That's a really important one. And allowing myself to create the schedule that I want. Okay. I have a question from the comments. What do you do to receive downloads or messages? See, it's not a doing, it's just a being. The more I allow myself to be, the more I receive. The more I'm outside in nature, away from my screen, away from my laptop, and I'm just open to receiving. I'm taking a walk, I'm going on a hike, I'm listening to music or a podcast, or I'm on a drive, or I've just opened the channel to receive from the spirit of my business. It speaks to me in the most random times. So there's nothing that I do. It's not like this process where I like sit down and journal and then I expect to hear. Sometimes that's the case. That's definitely happened. Like I'll open up a conversation through journaling with the spirit of my business, and I'll just say, okay, spirit of my business, what do you want to say to me today? What does my audience need to hear? What does my community need to hear? And I sometimes just say that out loud, and I just wait. And I wait for whatever comes through me, and I just listen to the first thing. Typically, it's the first thing that's your highest self speaking to you. Anything after that is like brain drama going back and forth. So I just listen and I just take action, and it just feels really good. So I just have an unconditionally open channel of communication with the universe and the spirit of my business. So when I receive downloads, when I receive messages, they just come to me in really random moments, because I'm always ready to receive and I'm always ready to take action. Okay, I have another question in the comments. How does your inner child feel after all of this? Oh my goodness. I think that she feels so content and joyful and grateful. I think that she feels fulfilled and seen, not in the way that she wanted to, from her dad's approval, her mom's approval, from the approval of everyone else, from partners, right? Always changing myself so that I can be sexier and prettier and smarter or less smart. Always changing myself to adapt to my environment so that I can be loved and so I can be validated. I finally have become the most grounded version of myself that I've ever been in my entire life, where nobody's approval of me means anything other than the approval that I have of myself and the acceptance that I have for myself, to a point where someone can literally say something to me about who I am, and I will be like, instead of being hurt and instead of thinking, oh my goodness, do I need to change something? Is there something that I need to do differently? Is there something I need to be less of? I would literally just laugh and be like, that's literally just not true. Like, that's just literally untrue. And it took me a really long time to get to this place of unconditional love and acceptance for myself. But I feel like for the most part, I don't feel like that 110% of the time. Obviously, I'm a human being, but for the most part, in general, yeah, that's how I feel. Where in the past, in general, most of the time, I would be constantly wondering, what are people thinking of me? How can I change myself to make other people like me more? What are things that I can do to change who I am? Like, that has all gone away. The main question that I have for myself is, what is going to make me feel joyful today? What is going to fulfill me today? What's going to give me more pleasure today? What is going to make me just so delighted and enchanted? And how can I do that and do more of that and do that quicker? So that's really where I'm at right now. And I think that I had to experience that inner child crying out for her needs of acceptance and validation and love, and like romantic love. Like, I remember there was a time in my life where I couldn't be single, I couldn't be alone. I jumped from one relationship to another. I remember in high school, I would like break up with one boyfriend, and I would literally like not even the next day, like have somebody else that I'm already like in a quote unquote relationship with. Because there were always guys that were like lined up. There were always guys that I just had like in my circle that wanted to be with me. So I would just jump from one to another. And it was just so, it was like me just really truly wanting to be validated by all of the things around me rather than finding it for myself. And I feel like building a business has been the biggest personal development journey, which like I didn't expect for that at all. But if you're building a business, like, oh my God, it's like you're in for a wild ride. So I would say that my inner child feels so good, and she's no longer crying out for that affection and that validation and that worthiness. I feel that I have that internally, unconditionally. So nothing, like, if like truly, if I lost all my money, if I never made it to 1 million, if I never even made it to 500K, like I'd be fine. Like, I'd be okay. I have my own back. I'm okay. If something happens to the business, if something happens like in my life, like I will not crumble, because I know that I will be able to find my way back. I know that I will find my way home. And that's truly what this journey has been, like me coming home to myself, me coming home to myself in my business. And so that's where I'm at right now. And I think that's a really good place to leave this live. All right, I'm going to close up. Thank you so much for asking questions. Thank you so much for being a part of this audience and just being incredible supporters in this journey. It's been so, so beautiful. I am going to probably get on another live and answer the questions that I didn't get to answer this time around, because some of you asked really good questions, so I want to get to them. But I have to go eat. I have to go honor my body. All right. If you want to connect, please send me a DM. If you want to reach money milestones in your own business and take your healing and your coaching business and your skills even deeper, Business Activation Academy is open, and you can apply and essentially go through from the very beginning of your business, own your magic, create a simple one-on-one offer, market, and learn how to show up on sales calls to attract your most aligned clients, and be able to create an effortless business from the start so that you don't have to redo or undo things that you've been taught. I want you to do it your way from the get-go. I want you to do it your way and create a sustainable business with my guidance, and really allow you to step into the person that you're meant to be, not a watered down, stifled down, small version of you, but the biggest, most expansive, most abundant, wealthiest version of you in the way that's meant for you. Okay? So I hope to see your application in my email. I check them every single day. Nikki, I would love to see your application come through. I am so grateful to be able to hold this space for such incredible people that are not letting their magic be like stuffed down and suffocated inside of them, but are ready to let the world experience it and show up as the biggest version of them in order to create that fulfillment that I talked about so much on this live. All right, I'm going to turn this into a replay. So anyone who's joining a little bit later, you'll see it on my feed in a couple of minutes. And yeah, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone who joined. And I hope you all have a beautiful Tuesday, a beautiful week, a beautiful start to April. Oh my gosh, we're in a brand new month already, and a beautiful new moon. We have 2 new moons in March. So Thursday is another new moon. So another time to get clear on who you want to be and the intentions you want to set. This is really the time to start getting shit in motion. So if you've been wanting to launch a coaching business, you've been wanting to get started on your business, this is the time. I want to help you, but you have to be open to it. You have to be coachable. You have to be resourceful. You have to consent to it, right? So I want to see your applications come in for BAA. If now is the time that you know that you are going to make your right time, because there's no right time other than the time that you make right. If now is the time that you are deciding is the time to start your business, you're not going to wait any longer because you don't want to put off making money any longer. Now is the time. All right. You can go to the link in my bio and click Business Activation Academy. You will read everything you need to know. Application is there too. And I will see you on the inside. And I love you all. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.